Progress Racing presents Show Us Your Tips, midweek preview, Daggy and Beaver with you on a Tuesday night. To look forward to Wednesday racing at both Kensington and down at Ballarat, isn't it, tomorrow, Beaver?
It is, mate. Kenzo and Ballarat. And up at Ippy, I think, mate.
Yeah, and up at Ippy for the King in the North. We'll get to that later. How did the weekend treat you? Did you have a bit of a bet?
Yeah, I didn't have a huge amount of bets. I was busy. It was the young bloke's birthday and the wife had me running around. And so I was a bit all over the shop, unfortunately, mate, and got a couple and missed a couple that I did like, which kind of frustrated me. So I kind of put the cue in the rack and watched on. But a couple of nice selections got home. Emmy's Award. I was all over that.
Was a very good
Realm of Flowers, I think, was one of the better bets of the day. So that was an outstanding win. So it was a couple of good, nice bets there. Eduardo won, showing it's a quality horse.
Yeah, Lord Vladislavos, the stupid horse later in the day that begins.
Vladistok.
That's the one, the Russian horse.
Vladivostok.
And that one I didn't tip in good health ran quite well, so that was good.
I did tip that, mate. I tipped that for you.
Oh, good.
But the other one I tipped for you, Superium, ran well actually, but the pace was not on in that race, and it was a sit and sprint and set up the leaders, which is a problem for the back markers in races run like that.
Yeah, a little bit to look forward to this weekend. We've got Doomben Cup, we've got Mugatoo back, so Dragon A back, and Zaki in the clash there, but we'll talk about that on Thursday, as well as some good racing all around Australia. But for today, we'll get to the Kenzo meet, where we are on a good track, rail in the 2 meter mark, maybe a little bit, the players slightly on the wetter side just with the cold conditions, but should be fine. Typical Kenzo, really. Down the outside by the end of the day is what I've worked on. We'll kick off in the first with a 2-year-old maiden over the 1,100 metres. A couple of nice trialers. Did you have a thought on any of these?
Yeah, there was a couple of nice trialers here. Bit hard to line up this type of year, and these horses probably need to wait and see what the money comes for. But at the moment, they seem to be liking Vern, and it trialled really well from the Annabelle Neesham stable. So at this stage, I'll be following the money if it comes with Vern.
The market's probably right. Vern was a nice trial, and in the Congo probably showed everything it had at the trials, but it ran away and won well. And if it is on pace early on, that'll obviously be the one to get past. But I think the market will hone in on one of those two early, as you've said. Race 2, the girls benchmark 72 over the 1,400 metres. What are you doing this favourite? Fast Chanel does have some reasonable runs to some good horses and just broke through last time. Sticking with it?
No, look, I've come up with cross-check around the $758 mark. I think its first up run was okay. Probably wasn't suited by the sting out of the ground. But if you go back to last preparation, it had form beating the likes of Great News. And we know that it's a quality horse. So I think if Jason Collett can get this lady in a good spot, might be worth a bit of an each-way play.
Yeah, I agree. Its Saturday form last time was good. Sort of off the rails at Canterbury that day didn't help, and will be much better for the run. I thought off the third up off the long spell, Lilium looked like a reasonable chance too. I was sort of looking towards those two on the second line of betting there more so than the favourite, who just has a bit of hasn't been the most consistent mare around, let's say, this prep. So at the price, I was happy to follow you in there with cross-check and maybe a saver on Lilium. By this stage, we'll know how the track's playing, I guess, by the time we hit race 3, where we have a 3-year-old benchmark 64. Samu's finally broken through, coming back to town. We had the Hawkesbury winner, Imposing Bow. Did you like either of them, or are you going a bit wider?
No, I'm going to go for Samu. It was nice to see it break through last start at very short odds and miss out at very short odds slightly before that. I'm hoping that's just made it click. Should have won 2 starts back and just was a bit disappointing, to be honest, and only just got there last start. But I'm hoping that it's benefited. I'm hoping the win draws a couple of lengths out of it. And in what's Looks to be a fairly open race, to be honest. There's plenty of chances in this, and some horses that have shown some ability in recent runs. So a Samu for me, and maybe the main danger could be Sweet Cherry.
Yeah.
Only had one start for a nice win.
Yeah, I was sort of against the favourite. Not a great race at Hawkesbury. Had the lead on the usual leaders track at Hawkesbury. Second horse got beat in the market at Newcastle on Saturday. So I thought Osama could run okay, but I was looking at down the bottom as well. Maybe Star Cherie and maybe Angara Rose first up. The trials were okay as well, but just again away from the favourites. I just don't like either of those favourites. And Gate One probably doesn't help once we start getting off the rail there at Kenzo either. So sort of happy again to follow you there at the odds. Benchmark 72 over the 1550 is race number 4. I liked Katea's return, actually. Best closer in that Canterbury race. Once it got clear air, it hit the line pretty well. Gemma Hara didn't exactly cover itself in glory afterwards. But second up here, outside gate, Tommy Berry on, I think can run well. Just against Acrophobic, I think we've seen enough of that horse to not have to worry too much about it. And I guess there's a bit of a spruik on this Bethencourt, but I thought it was a little bit disappointing. First up, again, Gate One. What do you make of this?
Yeah, I've gone for Bethencourt. Maybe a little bit slightly disappointing first up, but it was a heavy track again, and I don't think it was totally suited by those conditions. I think the firmer track will definitely suit. Second up will have derived some benefit from that run. Prior to that, trolled quite well. It was only a couple of lengths behind Sarah and Kirby Rocks first up. So with some natural improvement there and a little bit of luck in running as well, hopefully there's not too much problem stuck on the fence, or it can get off the fence soon enough. It's got the service of James McDonald aboard. I think that'll play into its hands. Yeah, look around the $4 mark. I'm happy to go Bethencourt.
The other one outside the market at the moment was Vera, and I had a pretty good prep last time in. The trials, one trial was a bit disappointing, so maybe one for the exotics there, but I guess we're both in agreement. So we're going away from Acrophobic, essentially. The 3-year-old over the 1550, benchmark 68. What do you reckon here?
Yeah, I'm going for James McDonald again here. Green Flash, the favourite. Quality, beaten by a quality horse that's franked that form in Grace and Harmony.
Really stands out now, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does stand out now. It's not an overly strong field. Too Much Caviar did win well last start, but stepping up in class now to a bit better quality here out of the maiden race. Look, Waller will have got a bit more improvement out of Green Flash, and I think it's probably one of the better bets on the card, if not the best.
Yeah, no, it's my best. Don't have to add much more. Obviously, the only concern, again, J-Max had Gate One these last 3 races, but the Grace and Harmony form obviously looks good now. With even luck, it probably finishes closer to that. Before that was wide at Canterbury, and before that was pretty good in winning. So easy bet for me to have. I think the $3.30 is actually probably a decent price.
Yep.
The other one at odds that I'll have a small one on is Canadian Spice. Just had to work around the bend at Wyong. But again, when you're not getting a job done at Wyong, it's Wyong. So the other two there. I thought Too Much Caviar did nice things, had its own way up front, and California Sky win today. It came out and did not much today, I think, actually. So the format of that race hasn't really stood up either. So yeah, Green Flash for me. Benchmark 72, 1,300 meters is race number 6. Open affair this, where I was going to make a case for the Godolphin horse. It's actually come up favourite, but I was just looking through the lens that it's coming off a fractured pelvis. They got plenty of breeding stock. They could have put it out and bred as a 4-year-old mare. If they're going to go through 18 months of rehab to bring it back to the races, they must have an opinion that it's got a bit of a future. And the trials were good. J-Mac on, outside gate by this time, probably coming down the outside fence, and I don't think this is a strong race at all. So Catalan on top for me here. What did you think?
Yeah, I came up with the same Catalan. I thought similar to you. I think they think this must have a little bit of ability. Hopefully they're not just put some effort into it and hoping for the best. But again, JMac on board. Yeah, they don't usually spend time on horses for that long if they don't think they've got a little bit of ability. They've
Especially
got plenty to pick from.
Just send them straight to the breeding barn and start again. But,
yeah, that's right. It's not as though there's a shortage of horses to pick from for them. So, yeah, Catalan for me as well, mate.
And we'll wrap up the day with another 72, this time over 1100. How do you pull this one apart?
Yeah, this was tricky, wasn't it? It's a wide open affair. Pretty tricky affair as well. I came up with Vishka, the number 15, down right down in the weights. Thought last start it won really well at Kembla. Put in a really nice time best run, nice, beat Global Queen, who has a bit of ability, and prior to that had some really good form down in Melbourne. So ran 4 lengths third at Bendigo behind Hudson and DiMaggio, who've both got a little bit of a talent, and prior to that at Ballarat. So look, they brought it up to Sydney from Melbourne, won its first start at Kembla Grange, and now comes to town at a midweek. These Godolphin horses tend to show off in affairs like this around the $10 mark. I just think it's worth a bet.
That's scary. I found the same horse. I like the gate by this time of the day, and everything you said's right. I don't have much more to add there. I think you can just slingshot down the outside at Kenzo and wrap up the day. I just didn't, Stoltz has been bumbling around sort of at Wyong. Time for Victory is coming off Hawkesbury form and Henschel form, which flopped today, and like the rest of the ones in the market.
Nosey's a resumed 7-year-old.
Yeah, so I thought this was 3-year-old filly against the against some of the old beat up older horses. I think it's a good bet as well. So I think I've come out the other side of this much more confident about tomorrow actually, because we found a lot of the same stuff. I think it's a pretty good betting card actually. For Pro Group Racing, what is your best and value at Kenzo?
Yes, my best comes up in race 5, Green Flash. Should be hard to beat. And my value bet of the day comes up in race 2, number 2, Crosscheck.
Yeah, I like it. My best is Green Flash as well. I think it wins. And I did like Crosscheck as well, but I like Vizaka this time of the day as well. So blue colours to finish the day with the value in Sydney. Let's head down to Ballarat where it's wet. It's cold, it's wet, and we're working on a heavy track with the rail in the 6 metre mark. Ballarat tends to play a little bit down the outside when it gets wet, so we'll see how that comes up. Did you like anything in this to kick off? This is maiden. We've got a maiden heavy program here, so
no, nothing in the first for me, mate.
How about the second?
I think the favourite, it's a shorty, but should be winning the second. I think they're starting it here to get a nice easy kill after it had some racing some quality 2-year-old races. Crazy Ladies, number 3, should be winning the second.
Yeah, I'm with you. I thought we might have got a slightly better price, but $1.75. I think you might get evens tomorrow. But yeah, started in the market against Arcaded. That came to Sydney and won well during the carnival. And Chase Picarones, who's got some talent as well on debut. So yeah, not much to add there. Race 3, the 1100 meter maiden. You got a thought here?
I thought it was a bit of a tricky affair, but I did come up with the Stokes train Subaku. It is favourite, but the fact that it's had its 3 starts and they're all reasonable efforts, finished in the money, spelled, and then brought straight to Melbourne from Adelaide. I think that's a good guide. When Stokes brings horses across, they generally perform pretty well. This isn't a weak affair, won't need to be of any significant quality to beat these. So I'm backing it on the fact that it's got a little bit of ability.
Not much to add. I'm with you again. So that's scary. Race number 4, the Phillies 64 over the 1,000 metres. I'll get him first here, but I was with Continuance down at Warnambool. I know it had the rail there in its advantage, but I think it gets the same run here. It'll cross this field. Ollie Sticks, wet tracker, 1,000 metre suits down in grade, leader down in grade. I know it's got 61, but this isn't a strong field. It should just roll to the front. Ollie's got one job, and that's to get it round the bend and I get a win. So I'm with number one continuance here, and you're nodding like you agree.
Yeah, I do. I agree. I think it all pans out fairly similar to last start. I'm actually surprised it's not favourite. And yeah, probably just the 61.5, but it's not that far above the minimum weight. So I think continuance looks very hard to beat.
Yeah, it's only 4 kilos off the minimum, and that's a Night Delight's a very average horse. So let's get to race 5. It's another 64 over the 1200 meters. A few scratchings here. Did I have a thought? Not really. I thought this was a tricky one. I think I was surprised actually. She's Booming didn't start favourite. I had a
Really?
couple that was a nice enough win last time. I got a feeling it might not even run if it's really heavy, but I thought it was a nice enough win. Maybe all advantage, every possible advantage before that but came through the Don't Doubt Nick form. Obvious danger, the Lindsay Smith horse. Is that who you're liking?
Yeah, I do. I think this is, again, a pretty nice bet on the card. It was very impressive last start. It was luckless. Flew home at Warnambool behind Dinger, I think it was.
Yeah.
Bit of money around for it. Oliver aboard. That was its first start in Australia after coming from New Zealand. Won't mind the sting out of the ground. Ballarat should suit coming down the middle of the track.
You got to give a big
too good for these.
For racing off the rails.
Yeah,
Warnambool too.
Yeah, 100%. Very, very, very hard to beat.
Yeah, very good. Race 6, benchmark 64 over the 2,000 meters. $5 a field here, led by one of your stables, Billy Mav, with Paulie Pruska. Is that the way you're looking, or you're leaving this one alone?
Oh, I didn't really like the race, but if I had to have a bet, Mr. Jubes, I went around the $8.50 mark. Thought its 2 runs in this preparation have been handy enough. It's now looking for this distance. Gets a 3 kilo claim. Last run at Geelong wasn't too bad. It's only started, I think, close to favourite and was only a couple of lengths off them. So it was well found in the market. And prior to that, first up was pretty good as well against a reasonable horse. And then last preparation was running around in better class staying events. So if it's got any sort of natural improvement from the first 2 runs, third up could be hard to beat.
I started with Flick It Over, who was pretty disappointing on a Saturday, coming back in grade. Ended up with Sir Marengo, I thought, again, raced quite well at Warnambool. Science will deliver, we know the form through that, and can run well here. Back in distance, on a wet track could suit, but I didn't particularly like the race beyond that, to be honest. Race number 7, benchmark 70 over the 1,400 meters. You've got anything for us here?
Yeah, I think the favourite will win this. Chief Altony. Very nice, very, very nice run last start behind a course with a bit of ability, I think. Had trialled before that, wasn't tested, and then prior to that, back prior to Christmas, ran not far behind the likes of Independent Road and Hasseltoff. So looks to have a little bit of ability. I think it'll have improved a bit out of last start. Gets drawn off the track a little bit, but that should suit. And again, the sting out of the ground won't hurt this horse. $2.70 or 80 at the moment. Hopefully $3 tomorrow. Yeah,
it beat home some decent horses as well. I think the Natural went over to Adelaide and was okay on the weekend. Interluck's a decent horse, so I like what you found there. I agree. One of the better bets on the card, I think, Chief Altony. And Joe McNeil riding really well again in the last few weeks. To finish up the day, benchmark 64 over the mile. Where are you going to forgive Tadashi Hamada on that Warnambool track, or?
I am.
Yep, getting $5 now. I think it's a bet.
Yeah, I think it's a bet. $5, $5.50. Again, third up, John McNeil. I'm going to forgive the Warnambool run. It wasn't the worst run anyway. It was
ended up being all right.
It ended up being all right. Prior to that at Geelong, was nice run and had some decent form last preparation. Again, should handle the track okay. It's drawn okay. Again, not a tough race, but an open race with a fair few chances. Tedeschi for me.
Very good. Yeah, I thought the same. That was where I started, and I think it can improve off that Warnambool track. For Progrit Racing again, check out Progrit Racing for their free tips and extensive guides. Your best in value at Ballarat.
Yeah, my best bet comes up in race 5, number 6, Sacred Palace. And my value bet comes up in the last, race 8, number 5, Tedeschi Hamada.
I'll make continuance my best. Race 4, number 1. I think the 2-year-old will run well. Crazy Ladies. No spoil there. And my value, I'll make it She's Booming, the $5.50, but definitely respect what you've said about Sacred Palace. We head up north. What have you got at Ippy tomorrow?
Yeah, I didn't have too many at Ippy, but I did find a couple for us. Again, it was a soft track, not the best of fields at Ippy there. Just race 3, number 3, Prospectus. Coming off last preparation in Sydney, gets a bit easier up there and does go well up in Brisbane. Race 7, number 10, the Lioness. I think it'll be hard to beat. And then in the 8th race, number 2, Thine is the Power, about $5.
Very good. I like it. So check out, that's it for us. Show us your tips on Tuesday night. Check out progritracing.com.au. Give us a subscribe on Spotify, iTunes, and SoundCloud, and subscribe as well on progritracing.com.au. You can join their mailing list to be notified on a Friday when our show goes up, so you can get all the mail before Saturday morning. Good job, Beaver. Good luck tomorrow.
Same to you, mate.
And I will catch you Thursday night for Doomben Cup Day. See you then.
Look forward to it.